Hey guys, welcome to The Clean Element, where my mission is to empower you to boot harmful chemicals from your home and make it a sanctuary. So this is the first episode. I want to lay the groundwork and introduce myself because it is the first episode, but I also want to add value into this sphere right off the bat and give you some good nuggets. I started The Clean Element very recently, but it was one of those things where your business idea is right under your nose and you had been walking by it every day because I had been living, air quotes, the clean element lifestyle that has just become second nature. That's just how I operate. And I didn't think it was very noteworthy, much less a viable business model. I think there's a lesson here, but I'll build that out in my business channel. Just a year ago, I was in the worst health of my life. Anyone with an autoimmune condition or a chronic disease knows what it's like to be teetering on the edge of like a flare-up at any given moment. And that's where I was, on a tightrope at all times. Like any movement in any direction could send me into debilitating inflammation. I noticed that the sensitivities began with fragrances and cleaning solutions. I had been living in Vegas for 4 years, and for 2 of those years, I worked in a casino. And casinos are notorious for being smoky, heavily fragranced, and constantly being cleaned. So that's where it started. By the time I had started experiencing autoimmune symptoms, I already had a large toxic load, and I had been bearing so much stress because I was also going through a divorce of like a 10-year marriage. And during that process of the divorce, he gets medically injured by a chiropractor. It was horrible. I don't wish it on my worst enemy. We signed the papers and he moved to Northwest Arkansas to be closer to family. He still needed so much help, and I'm not a sociopath. I can't just wash my hands clean of whatever care I had for this person whom I've shared so much of my life with. So I temporarily moved there, and thank God I worked remotely and that I was able to do that. And we find him a specialist, so that's awesome. But now I'm in an environment with large amounts of pollen and like mold spores in the air. What the heck is that? I am from Alaska, and mold spores hanging around the air is not something that I had ever considered. But I learned that year. This was the pinnacle of my toxic load, stress, and now histamine responses. And despite all of that, I still had to clean my house. Like I bought the greenest products you could find in a Target, but they're not very green at all. They're not that safe for you, to be honest. And that was the last straw. My body goes on the fritz. My eyelids would swell shut for days at a time. Tears, snot, and just an inflamed hot mess on a regular basis. And the doctors had nothing, okay? I'm talking 5-star CMS rated, like Mercy Hospital. I was told to take a Benadryl, like I had not already tried that. Okay, I was washing my face multiple times a day at this point because of the pollen. I had been icing my eyelids, and I was taking antihistamines. And this started my crusade. I discovered hypochlorous acid because I connected some dots between products that I had. And that solution is now the workhorse of my safe, non-toxic cleaning arsenal. And needless to say, I do things at home way differently now. And I forget how differently I operate until I visit friends and family and they bust out the sprays and cleaners that I used to use. And I instinctively brace myself. So with that origin story, you can see why I have a bone to pick with chemical-based cleaners and mold and stress. But I'll take up the helm with chemical-based cleaners, okay? Like I will champion that mission. Okay, let's get you some nuggets to get you started. The reason we even tolerate chemical-based cleaners is because we believe we need them to achieve cleanliness, right? I mean, I think that's the rationale. Or in the case of fragrances, it's to have a therapeutic effect, right? To put you in a good mood. Well, let's ask ourselves, what is required for cleanliness? Something has to kill germs and pathogens, right? Removal of dirt, removal of residues. So if we piece together the absolute necessary components, i.e. ingredients, of a solution to do these things, the list is actually really short. It's like 1 or 2 items, 3 if you want fragrance. Now, I understand the list might grow if you have different types of surfaces to clean, but honestly, even in my house, you don't get a pass. And of course, it's not the amount of ingredients that dictate whether something is safe or not, right? But we can agree that once it gets past a certain amount of ingredients, that solution is a little suspicious now. Like once we understand what's actually required to clean, it's like, what are these other things in here for? And I'll tell you, or rather, I'll tell you what a company might tell the public to rationalize the chemicals in the solution. So, okay, shelf stability, shelf life, got it. The bubbles, because we love a lather. The fragrance, because it's one thing to be clean, right? It's another thing to smell clean, or like a bouquet of flowers. And you have like, it dries fast, it's streak free, it's really heavy duty for tough stains or whatever. And those are just off the top of my head. But the thing is, our allergies and sensitivities, skin conditions like eczema and rashes, they have increased so much over the last 2 decades. And although these conditions are brought on by other factors too, like diet, you can't deny that chemicals, especially repeated exposure to chemicals, can be a trigger to those conditions. I mean, they were for me. And the real kicker is that you can achieve these results that these bad chemicals claim to do with natural ingredients. If you want streak-free, a little soap, water, and a microfiber cloth will do the trick. You want fragrance? Obviously essential oils. You want extra cleaning power? Try charcoals, clays, baking soda paste. That will usually do the trick. The point is, the remedies exist, and they have existed way prior to the introduction of harsh lab-manufactured chemicals that have only emerged in the last few decades. For centuries, people have been achieving the same deep cleaning results using simple natural ingredients long before synthetic additives became the norm. And to be fair, I will acknowledge that the rise of these manufactured chemicals did not happen in a vacuum. There were points in modern history where mass production and synthetic ingredients made sense and even felt necessary. During World Wars I and II, for example, industries ramped up chemical manufacturing to support the war effort, producing synthetic detergents because traditional soap was in short supply due to fat shortages. Now, after the wars, these same industries now had a bunch of factories and they had a bunch of chemical byproduct, and they had to be repurposed. They needed new applications. And that led to the boom of commercial household cleaners and personal care products. So I totally understand that there was a need for this before, but there's that principle that what has served you before may not always serve you now. So in the 1950s, post World Wars I and II, there was an economic boom where convenience, mass production, and marketing shaped consumer demand. By this point, people became accustomed to the fluffy things. They want the lather, they want the smells. And now here we are, experiencing the consequences of decades of chemical exposure. It's up to us to change the industry, and it starts with being informed. But the great thing is, you don't have to wait for an industry to change to improve your life now. You can take things into your own hands, and it's not that hard. So here are some actionable takeaways to start improving your life like today if you wanted. Find a place that sells hypochlorous acid. That is capital HOC, lowercase l. And I say that because it can become expensive to buy hypochlorous acid from a cosmetics line or a personal care brand. There are places now that sell them in large quantities for all types of uses. You can also make it yourself. Just Google, I know Amazon makes them, but if you just search for a hypochlorous acid maker or electrolysis machine for hypochlorous acid. I also sell at FYI, but I'm sure there's a place local to you that sell them. They're becoming a little bit more popular now. 0.02% strength, which is the equivalent of 200 ppm or parts per million. This is adequate to clean absolutely everything from your kitchen to your bathroom and everything in between. And then you'll want a new dish soap. I love Sea Witch Botanicals. This is not sponsored. They don't know me. This is just what I use. Canary Clean is the name of the soap. It is a bar soap and it has only 3 organic ingredients. You guys, I use this for everything. I do use it as glass cleaner. I do use it to remove sticky residues like from stickers and so much more. I take it with me camping and I actually use it as my windshield degreaser. On long drives when you have a bunch of flies and mosquitoes, just carnage on your grill and on your windshield. And the windshield wiper fluid doesn't do anything, let's be honest. But this soap does it. Anyways, that's just a little outdoor hack there. Oh, and I also use it to completely clean my countertop oven. That's a big deal because that grease is hard to take off. And I'm not going to use chemicals in an appliance where I cook my food. So that was awesome. It really took care of it. Awesome multitasker. Now you have some actionable takeaways to improve your life today, and you have my origin story. You know what this crusade's about, and you know what the Clean Elements mission is. That's episode 1. Please like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you did in fact like it, or give it a follow if you're listening to this on another platform. If you really want to help launch my channel, please share this with someone you care about. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for taking a peek, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.